Back before they found him, his only ever transfer, if you can even call it that, came when he was scouted at 15 years of age by IF Broma Poikarna. If you never heard of them, well, that isn't exactly surprising. They were one of the worst teams in the Swedish league. In fact, even though it took less than 2 years for Gyokeres to get promoted to their first team, by then they had already gotten relegated after one of the worst league campaigns you'll ever see. Just 12 points from 30 matches, even the second worst team had more than twice their points. You could argue that, at the time, they weren't even good enough for the second tier, and you know what? You'd be right. The next year, even with Gyokeres getting his first few minutes for the team, they finished last place once more, winning only 5 matches all year. Suddenly, Gyokeres was approaching his 19th birthday, and when he should have been following the footsteps of Zlatan, maybe getting a move to Malmö or, one of the top clubs in Sweden, instead, he was in the 3rd tier of a league where it's already hard to get some time in the spotlight. Regardless, as you can imagine, that did not stop him. In fact, it just dragged him all the way back to the top. Right then and there, even if he was only just being introduced into the team, he still managed to finish his first full season with a stretch of 7 goals in 11 matches that not only helped get the club back up to the 2nd tier, but already made him their 2nd highest goal scorer and most likely earned him a call-up to the Swedish under-19s, where once again he immediately left his mark, scoring against Italy to qualify them to the under-19 Euros for the first time in their history. And after all of that, obviously Broma Poikarna realized that it would be their ticket back to the top tier, and before you knew it, he had become the star of the team, starting off the league season with 13 goal contributions in 14 league matches, then going away for the Euros and doing an absolute madness. Look, Sweden went out in the group stage without a single win, and still, in a tournament where players like Rafael Leão, Mason Mount and Jota all played more matches than Gyokeres, he still came out as the top scorer, getting a goal in every game he played. And of course, once back in his country, he completed his mission, not only leading his team to yet another title, scoring a hat-trick in the final match day, but also making sure to score the goal that would put them in the semi-finals of the Swedish Cup against all odds. And if for a second you doubted that Gyokeres really had been responsible for the team's rebirth, then let me tell you that it was right after this that he left, and almost immediately Broma Poikarna ended up getting relegated twice in a row again. They were nothing without him. Regardless, he was finally at Brighton, and the first sort of problem to come up was that Gyokeres was sent straight to the under-23s, and though this is not inherently wrong, I mean, eventually did the same to Fofana and that worked out, well, back then it wasn't the same. Brighton's under-23s weren't even in the first division, and though Gyokeres performed every time, scoring 11 goals in his first 12 appearances for them, leading them to promotion and then keeping it all up in the first division, after 1 full year at the club's academy, even if he was already playing his first few games with the Swedish national team, Brighton were still yet to figure out what was his best position, constantly going back and forth between playing him on the wing or as a striker, and even worse, it still didn't seem like there would be a place for him in the first team anytime soon, allowing him only 91 minutes of playing time across that whole year. And then, to add fuel to the fire, Graham Potter replaced Chris Hughton as the club's manager, and with the team switching to a new game style that in the opinion of the staff just didn't fit Gyokeres, the under-23's head coach recommended that they loan him out, and soon he was going straight to St. Pauli in the German 2nd tier. But again, this was especially frustrating because even if he performed quite well there with 11 goal contributions in around 1600 minutes of game time, once he made it back, you again got the feeling they didn't even consider keeping him in the first team, as it was right then that the whole situation with McAllister went down. While every other player that showed some promise was given a shot, Gyokeres was sent on yet another loan, this time to Swansea, where he hit the lowest point of his career. First, testing positive for COVID, then seriously struggling with long-term symptoms, never really getting back to full fitness, and watching as his move got cancelled less than 4 months after arriving at the club, unjustly killing any remaining belief Brighton had in his progression.